Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. Your host is Marguerite Crespillo, and she started this podcast simply to talk to cool people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now your host, Marguerite Crespillo.
Hello, everybody. This is Marguerite Crespillo, and thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all of the cool and amazing people that are out there. We have a lot of fun chit-chatting with people that are either up and coming or well-established, and today our guest is, I think, both of those, right? You've been working hard for a long time.
I have.
So today we have a special guest. Danielle Fuhrman is a certified color and style expert, certified YOU, consultant and practitioner in the assessment, the ultimate life tool. She's the owner of Reflections of You, a full-service image consulting business. Can't we all use a little bit of image consulting? Her work has been featured in the Style Bistro, the Austin American Statesman, and the Austin Chronicle. She has also been featured on the radio show Be the Star You Are and Reinvention Radio. You can also connect with her on Reflections of You on Facebook. She's a #1 best-selling author. Is color sabotaging you or supporting you? And we will be sure to have some links to access her and her information and her page. And you'll be able to check out her ebook, right? Landing page to get her ebook. So you guys will all have access to that in the show notes after the show today. So welcome, Danielle.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me be here.
You know, it's funny, I had never really thought a whole lot about color and style and all that until years and years ago. I had a good friend who was an interior designer, and her name was Marcia Ray. And she wrote this whole book on color, and I remember her giving me little ideas on different things to put in and around a house, like memory colors and stuff like that. And I thought it was so fascinating. I've always been fascinated by it. And then, of course, color in who you are, your own style. Like, I didn't know what a stylist was until recently, where, you know, somebody would come in and style you. I was like, oh, you mean like they dress you and pick stuff out? They're like, yeah. So,
yes.
So tell me about you, your background, and what you do.
Okay. I've been doing this work for about, since 1989. And I love it, and how I got involved in it is because I had my colors done, and it made such a big difference in how people reacted to me and how I felt about myself, and increased my self-confidence that I knew that one day I would go back and get trained, and I did that when I was going through my divorce. I figured that was a good time to boost my self-confidence a little bit, and it was an amazing process to go through this schooling, because it was over 2 years of training. But not only that, it really gave me a chance to heal, because we work on such a deep level. It isn't just about colors, but it's how do we relate to it, and what are the words that relate to us and resonate with us, and because everybody's really different. So it's working with our own personalities and authenticity.
Well, it's so true how color can really impact you or affect you, right? Like the things, even walking into a room that is a certain color can either make you feel good or make you feel anxious.
Well, and the thing about that too, it's like there are colors that people can wear that, you know, you'll notice the color before you'll notice the person, and that's not the objective. You want to be noticed as well as look good. So if you're wearing a color that is really overpowering to your coloring, all you're going to see is the color, and you're not going to connect with the person the way that you would want to. So if you're, let's say, on stage and you're, you know, up in front of the room, the color might be a little bit brighter, but you still want to be seen, and you want people to notice you and pay attention to you, not what you're wearing. And I've seen many speakers that will get on stage wearing something that's it just doesn't work for them, and you're so distracted by what they're wearing instead of listening to their message, which can be sad, you know.
So let's talk a little bit about that. There are colors that I assume are more trusting colors.
Yes.
And
yes.
because you always see, of course, presidential stuff and salespeople always wear that navy blue, right?
Right.
So why is that particular color, how true is that, first of all?
So I don't necessarily agree with that. There are colors that do create credibility, trust, and instant connection, and that is actually your eye color. And so when you wear your eye color, it brings out your eyes so that you're connecting at a different level. And it's really great. If somebody has like the yellow-green eye color, that's probably not the best color to wear the first time you're meeting somebody, because a lot of people they don't like that color particularly. Even though it might look good on you, they don't like the color. It's kind of like a chartreuse color. It's
right.
Just not, yeah. So eye color is a really good color to wear if you're meeting somebody for the first time, especially being in sales like you are and your audience. You're selling, doing real estate, and you're meeting your clients, and you want them to feel comfortable with you. You want them to connect with you. You want them to trust you. And if you're wearing something that doesn't do that, then it's not that you won't create the relationship with them. It just could take a lot longer to get there.
So do you mean the color of my eyes? So
yeah.
I have green eyes, so I would wear green clothing?
Right. You would look for something that matches your eye color. It could be maybe a little bit lighter version or a darker version. The darker version would probably be more of a neutral color, maybe if you wore suits, like a suit color, and then wearing something under it that is, matches your coloring.
Now, that's funny that you say that, because I really don't wear much green,
I
and
know.
I have green eyes. Yeah. And so, like, the colors that I seem to get the most compliments on are when I wear purple, like a lavender type purple. I get the most compliments when I wear that color. And
it might still be a great color for you to wear. It could be an undertone of your skin. I mean, it's hard to see you.
Right, we're on video and weird lighting, so.
Yeah, so it's hard to see your lip color, and I actually thought your eyes were blue, not green, just from what I see.
A lot of people do, yeah.
But it's amazing. I mean, originally when I had my colors done, we did the undertone of brown color eyes. And now, and then when I went back and had my colors updated years ago, she actually gave me brown to wear. And I was like, really? You're giving me brown?
Yeah.
And I wear brown, and I love it. It's kind of one of my forms of black, too. So.
Yeah, because I thought that, honestly, wearing that color might wash me out a bit. But now I'm curious. So I'm speaking on Friday at an event. So I'm going to go see if I can find myself something green. But my eyes are such they're like blue-green, but they're really green-green. Like if you actually look at them, they're green-green. So I don't know if I could find it.
Well, find something maybe in teal that's more on the green side than the blue side.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
So how does color also really affect houses and maybe color in types of homes? Like we talked a little bit about the color of rooms, color accent colors, things like that, even exterior colors. Can we talk a little bit about that?
We can talk a little bit about it. I know when somebody gets their colors done, they can actually take their color palette and bring it into the home, painting walls and doing interior design so that you feel really comfortable in your environment. If you're selling a home, I would do something. I mean, it's kind of hard because you're not going to ask your client necessarily to paint walls and, do all that kind of thing, those kind of things. But usually softer colors are a little bit better because, there's some people that are going to like the really bright colors and they probably will be more attracted to it, or they're not going to like it. And, some people have imaginations where they can see, okay, well, if I paint it this color, it will be. And then there's other people that can't figure that out. They don't know what colors to put together. And, I mean, I'll just say my brother can go into a house and redesign it in his head, and I'll walk into it and go, I would never move into this house. So my creative ability that way is a little bit different than his. It's really funny. So
well, I know that it seems over the years what I've seen. I've been 23 years in real estate, and I've seen the colors change. Like, it used to be that everyone did like an off-white, right? That eggshell was so popular for years and years and years.
Right.
And now everyone is doing more of like a taupe, kind of a deeper beige that with the white trim. It seems to be the most popular. Like, when I go walk through the model homes and see what they're doing and what the designers are doing. But now I'm actually, over the last year or two, I'm actually starting to see more color, which I love color. So
yeah.
People would laugh because the inside of my house is actually like terracotta orange. And people are like, who would paint their house orange, right? But I love it. It's like Spanish style, and I love color. Like, my living room is like this terracotta. My kitchen is red. My dining room is like a mustard yellow kind of. And I love color. But of course, not everyone does. I'd have to repaint my entire house if I ever sold it, but I'm not selling it. So.
Okay, well, when I bought my house a long time ago when I was living in Austin, we walked in and the walls were different colors, and I liked it. But they weren't my colors, so we ended up changing them out. But I did accent walls in my deep eggplant color, and it was really fun. But when we actually sold our house, the realtor told us to paint everything back to more neutral.
So what is the process? Let's go back a little bit to style and people, human beings.
Okay.
What is the process for somebody getting their colors done? Like, what is that? What is that process?
What I do is I have an assessment that I use, that I have the client take. First, it gives me a lot of information about the person, even so if I've never met them before. This way I have some really good information about their personality and how, the things that might be important to them when I'm doing their colors. But it was also an assessment that I found that really saved my life, literally. I was always told that I needed to be different than how I was, being an image consultant, I always felt like there was something missing. Like, I loved the work, but it felt like there needed to be something richer about it. And when I came across this assessment, I fell in love with it, and now it's part of my process. And so I get to know more about the person. I take them through a journey so that they get to know more about themselves. And then, so that's on the inside. And then I sit with them. And if I do it like virtually, then I would need really, really good pictures, do their palette, and then we would go through everything with them, like all the colors that they got, how do you use them, what's the best colors to wear for certain situations. And it's an amazing process, and it can be really healing too, because I know when I was growing up, my mom used to dress me, and she would dress me in her colors, and I never really liked a lot of them, and I think sometimes we get stuck in that for so many years. So it's a process where you really take somebody on a journey and have an experience so that they walk away going, wow, that was really cool. So
what kind of questions would you ask in that assessment? Like, I'm curious, what kind of questions are in that?
Well, it's actually more of a human potential assessment. So there's questions about your eye color, your hair color. If you're female, it asks if you have natural, if your breasts are naturally natural, big or small, things like that. I know it sounds really weird, but it gives us a lot of information as to how that person functions. But the assessment talks about your God-given traits, the things that motivate you, your levels of refinement, how you connect with people, and your energy centers. And again, how do you connect with people? Do you connect with them by moving, or do you connect with them by touching? And so that makes a difference when you're a salesperson too, because then you can actually start seeing some of that and know maybe that person, like, sometimes when you get too close to somebody, they'll back up because they don't like that.
Their personal space.
Right. They don't like it. But then there's other people that love that, just like the closer you get, the better.
Well, I'm definitely a touchy person. I'm a hugger, right? So
yeah.
I love to hug people. But I do know that feeling of somebody being, kind of in your personal space where you feel like you got to kind of back up a little bit and get away from them.
But if you give somebody a handshake, then you're actually connecting with them on a emotional level, an intellectual level, a movement level, and an instinctual level. So you're connecting with them on all senses so that you can actually move in and have a conversation with them easier.
So when you talk about color, obviously we talk about, clothing, attire, and, different things, but I think there's other things that impact you too, such as, what is your hair color? What is it naturally versus, for most women, we color our hair. And, even makeup tones. And, like, I know that I cannot wear makeup that has the real reds in it, because it makes me look weird. And so, because I'm of Italian descent. And so...
Okay. Do you tan? Do you tan?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I don't actually go out and tan anymore, but I do tan easily. If it's summertime, I do tan in the summertime.
Okay.
But I don't... In the old days, we'd go back out and lay by the pool for hours and hours and, get fried. But
I know, I paid for it. I don't go in the sun anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But, so yes, I do. I'm not lily white. But I crack up because we have our boys. We have one that's the brown one we call and one that's not, because my husband is Spanish. So my youngest son is darker complected than my other son. But in coloring and figuring out what's the best, makeup color to wear, what's the best, hair color to actually have, clothing. And then I had somebody come out to my house and we spent an entire day, took everything out of my closet. I mean, everything.
Great.
There was not one thing in there. And then we sat and went through everything. She's like, keep it, toss it, save it. And she's like, look, you have all those clothes that you're going to wear someday when you lose weight, right? And she's like, look, by the time you actually do that, you're going to want a whole new wardrobe. You're not going to want to wear all these old clothes when you do lose the weight. So get rid of them. I was like, okay.
Exactly.
I ended up getting rid of 8 huge garbage bags of clothes.
Oh, my goodness.
It was ridiculous. It was embarrassing, actually. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Some stuff I still had tags on that I didn't even wear. Awful.
I know. I've been I actually just did a Facebook Live, and we were talking about people that have things in their closet that still have tags on them because they buy them and then they don't know how to put them together. What do I wear this with? And it's like, I don't know. And they don't take it back. They just keep it in their closet hoping that someday that they'll wear it. They'll find something to wear it with, and they don't. So
well, and it seemed like such a bargain. You're like, I have to buy it. It's like such a deal. I got to buy it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I got to buy it anyway, which is ridiculous, of course.
Right. And the thing that's so great about when you have your colors done and you understand how all of that works is that you get this shopping fan that you fan it out and you go shopping. You look in the store. If your colors are there, great. If they're not, you walk out and you're done. It's an easy process. But if you find something that's in the range, I always tell my clients, try it on, see how it feels. Maybe the color will be good because, there's millions of colors. So I'm obviously not going to catch all of them. So,
So you do this assessment, which is basically a questionnaire,
right?
Is what you're saying. So it's an extensive questionnaire that asks a lot of personal questions, I'm assuming, and gives you some insight as to who this person is.
Right.
And then what?
And then it just gives me information, and then I set up an appointment and we do the consultation part to do their colors. So you get a portfolio of information along with a shopping fan. You won't get that immediately because I have to put it together or order it. And within a week or week and a half, you'll have your colors and everything together. And it's a great process. It depends on how much you want to do. I mean, I do, the colors and the assessment, and then I can do the styles and wardrobe, and then do a whole day of shopping with the person.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun because you really want to have it be an experience where because a lot of my clients hate shopping, and so when you can go shopping and have it be fun, even in the stressfulness of it, you get to see, okay, this doesn't have to be so bad. This can actually be a lot of fun, and I don't have to buy something, but I can at least start trying on things and seeing what looks good and what doesn't look good.
So you made the comment that learning about color and the color, how it affects you, literally saved your life.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
It's not the colors, it was the assessment. I am somebody that sees what's not working first. And so there are a lot of people out there like me that are not accepted. We're always told you need to be happy, you need to be positive, you need to do something different. And I just got tired of it. I just felt like I was never accepted for who I was and how I presented myself out in life. And when I went through the assessment, I just went, wow. It gave me permission to be myself in a way that I had never experienced. And I've done a lot of personal growth work, and this was the best thing, hands down, for me personally. And, not everybody's going to necessarily have that kind of an experience, but they'll have an experience that validates who they are, or it gives them insights to who they are.
It's funny that you say that because, so I grew up with a single mom. My father was not in my life, and my father was the Italian side of me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm half Italian and then half all the stuff my mom was. And so growing up with my mom was kind of more English, German, French, a little more reserved, didn't really express a lot of things.
Yeah.
And as an Italian, I've always been very expressive, talk a lot with my hands. I'm very loud and outspoken and the whole bit. So we clashed quite a bit, and I felt the same way, that there was something wrong with me, right? Until I went on vacation. I went on a trip to Italy. And when I got to Italy, I was like, there's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
This is who I am, right? Like, it's who I am. And that was such an eye-opener. And I wish that experience for everybody to be able to see that you're normal just the way you are, right? Like,
yeah.
It's your perception that you're not.
Exactly.
And it's once you get into a space where there are people that are like you or similar to you or you can connect to or relate to,
mm-hmm.
then it's like life-changing. It's a big light bulb.
It is life-changing. And when there's a lot of individuals that really see what's not working first, but they're told that they're negative. And it isn't that they're negative. They're just seeing that, that's not working right now, and if you're working with a doctor or something, you want them to be able to see all that to begin with and not run 20 different tests and things. So there's a lot of benefits to seeing what's not working first. And then it comes around to everything else, but we're viewed as very negative people. And we're not. We're just seeing what's not working first. It's kind of like, is it really the glass half empty, half full? But it's not even really like that. I mean, there are negative people. Even the happy people have
their moments.
Yeah, and it's because they're going through something. And you can tell by looking at the assessment if something's not right now. And you can talk to them about that. And I think having the image piece too helps with your self-confidence to get out there and feel good about yourself and know that you're perfect the way that you are, and you just have to figure out where's your place, so-called place in society. it's just different than somebody, I'm not a Goldie Hawn. I'm not, that bubbly, perky personality. That's not me.
There's a great book, and I've been trying to think of the author as you were talking, but it's called Six Hats Thinking. I'll have to look it up, and I'll post it in the show notes.
Okay.
And what I love about that book is it talks about having 6 people that are part of your organization that all wear a different color hat, right?
Yeah.
And each one of those colors reflects a little bit about their personality type, and how vitally important it is to have all of those hats, all those different colored hats, as part of the decision-making process, so that you can get a more rounded view of
right.
a more opened experience or opinion of how you should handle things. And there is a hat, of course, that is what they call supposedly negative Nelly type of thing.
Yeah.
But that person you need to have there because they do see what could potentially be wrong with the situation and how you can either overcome that or get past it or circumvent it in somehow. And so it's really a fascinating book. I'll have to find out who the author is.
Yeah, that would be really great. Yeah,
because it just talks about how each one of those really bring the value. Because if you just always have a super positive, see the sunny skies, then they don't realize the storms that are potentially coming because they're not paying attention to them.
Right, exactly. And it's funny because in my assessment group, the you consulting group, when we have meetings and stuff, they always refer to me because they know that I can see a different picture than what they're seeing, because I'm one that's probably the most like that in our group than anybody else. And it's it's nice. It validates who I am and how I perceive life, how I perceive things. So,
well, even you talked about of course, choosing colors that work for you. I know that my favorite saying is get up, dress up, and show up, right? And if you at least get dressed up and you feel good in what you're wearing, it changes everything about your day.
It changes
right? It changes
everything.
Your confidence. It changes how you feel. It changes how you walk in and somebody says, "Oh wow, that color." Like I don't wear red very often because I can only wear certain reds, but I wore this red the other day. Everyone's like, "I've never seen you wear red. You look great in that color."
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh," So then it makes you gives you that little pep in your step.
Well, it's interesting because everybody does have a red. It could be a coral and it could be a cherry red, just depending on your coloring. And the same with, the one color that is the most, I want to say, overused is black.
Of course.
And everybody.
Because it hides so much, right?
Pardon?
It hides so much. We all wear black.
That's what everybody says, but it's not true. If it's not your color, it's going to actually create an invisible wall between you and the person that you're meeting with. And if you're in sales and black is not one of your colors, it's not the best color to wear because you're creating this disconnect energetically versus connection. And it's funny because blondes love wearing black. And sometimes you can't get them out of it. And if they're going to wear black, then they need to know how to wear it so that it supports them versus creates an energetic block.
Yeah, so a few years ago when going through my closet, I realized how much black I really had. Mm-hmm. And I started making a conscious effort to go out and get more color, more things that could really be a little bit brighter and lighter. Maybe it was a phase I was going through or something. I don't know. Well, I'm wearing black today too, so that's not a good.
Black is
a rainy day.
Is one of the. It's easy to find. People think that it's slimming. Everybody has their own form of black. It's actually, I talk about it in my book, but it could be brown, it could be navy, it could be a green, it could be a burgundy, it could be eggplant. It just depends on somebody's coloring. My black is like a really dark eggplant color. That's one of them.
I love that color, actually.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite colors.
and brown, but brown also matches my eyes, but you still have to get the right color brown, or brown.
I know one of my favorite colors is it's called aubergine.
Uh-huh.
I love that color. Like it's like a deep eggplant, dark kind of color. I actually love those colors.
Yeah, I mean, from your personality, I can tell that you need to have some life in your colors. Not, my colors are a little bit more neutral. I do have color, but they're more on the neutral side than on the bright, vibrant side.
Right. No, I definitely, in my house, I have lots of color. I don't have as much color. I need to get more color in my wardrobe. I'm going shopping today. You inspired me to go shopping.
Okay.
But I need to get my colors done first.
You're buying stuff that doesn't look good on you.
Exactly. Well, so tell me a little bit more about, so we get a survey done, or an assessment, and then you go through and you analyze that assessment, and it sounds like you're a little bit of a mini counselor in there too, right?
Yeah, it's, I think what I have found, like this is just a little aside, but I met this young man. I was at an event and I met him, and he was 20 years old, and his self-confidence was not really high, but he said at 5 years old he was thinking of committing suicide.
Oh,
and I just and I go, that's why I love this assessment, because it can actually help somebody through that. So it's an inner and outer process of really stepping into your power and authenticity. And that's why I love both pieces of, I love the work that I do, because I can help people see something from a different way of being. And even being out in sales, if you understand yourself a little bit better, you know how to do sales differently too. Because
that's an actually interesting question. So do you mean from a confidence level, or what do you mean by that?
I mean, some people are, like the cheerleaders, rah rah, and so they're going to do sales differently. But if they're with somebody that's like me, I'm not going to like that as much as somebody that is a little bit more subdued. Do you know what I mean? And so, yes, you have a positive outlook, but there may be clients that you might not resonate with as much. And so understanding that, you might either know that if you're spending a lot of time with somebody that is not in your same range of, I'll say, energy, it actually can drain your energy, and you might have a harder time working with that client.
Well, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I know that there are certain people that really do drain the life out of you, so to speak.
Yeah.
But part of that too comes, I understand personality matching a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Mirroring the type of person that you're around. But how does color affect that too? Are you saying to maybe do a little bit of mirroring of what colors they might be more reactionary to?
I think that when you're meeting somebody for the first time, like we were talking about, the best color to wear really is your eye color, because it does create that connection. The color that I would not wear, if you don't know the client and you know for sure it's not one of your best ones, is wearing black the first time you meet somebody. It's just an instant energy block. And I'll give you an example. I had a client that he was anything but black. His coloring, light hair, light eyes, light skin. And he was wearing black, and he was an attorney wearing black, navy, gray, everything that you're supposed to wear when you're an attorney going into court. And I begged him. I said, just go get a dark green suit, try it, see, because he had really beautiful green eyes. And he went into court. The judge noticed him. The clerks noticed him. This is somebody that walks into court all the time at this particular court. And he won. He won his case. So did he win because he was wearing his colors? I don't know, but I'm sure that it it didn't hurt him by any stretch of the mean. But if he would have worn black, I don't think that the jury would have trusted him as much.
Well, it's important too because I'm sure all those compliments helped his confidence level as well, which, the combination of wearing the right colors brings attention to you, which helps you all the way around, right? Gives you a little bit of extra confidence.
It does, but he also had confidence anyways, so it just probably, it enhanced it. So he came back and he said, okay, you win. I will start wearing my colors. Thank you. Yeah. So.
Well, as we wrap up today, I was curious, your ebook talks about color tips for success. Do you have maybe your top 1 or 2 that you recommend?
Well, my landing page is Color Tips for Success.
Okay.
When you download it, you'll get the book Is Color Sabotaging You or Supporting You?
Oh, all right.
So the tips are the couple of things that we were talking about: wearing your eye color and not wearing black when you're meeting somebody for the first time. And if you have a sense of, like, if you have, like you have green eyes, maybe finding a darker version of that could be a really good form of black for you. Or looking at your hair color, that is also another really good form of a neutral color that can be like a black. So those would be some of the things to really look at, because your coloring is based on your hair, skin, and eyes, and then taken out into, looking at your reds and dramatic colors and skin tones and all, just all the things that make up your personality. And we do metals and prints too.
Wow.
Because the prints are really, and textures, looking at textures, but the prints are really based off of your facial features and how much space you have in your face. And we look at focal points and all different things.
Well, this has been so fascinating. Now I'm inspired to set a time to look at my colors. I haven't done it in many years. It's been a long time, years and years ago. But I know that it can definitely make an impact. And I encourage all of our listeners out there. We'll be sure to post links and ways to get a hold of Danielle to see what she can do to help you with your colors. We do have listeners all around the country, so you do this virtually as well, right?
I do. What I would need if I was doing your colors is just a really good headshot and body shot if we're going to do style too, so that I can really see your true eye color, hair color, and skin tone.
Well, I think that this has been so fascinating, and I definitely know that color impacts and affects just about everything we do every day, not only in our image, but also in the space that's around us that makes us feel good, right?
Right, exactly. And, when you go shopping, if you find something, you can always reach out and we can look at it and talk about it. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Danielle. This has been really fascinating, and we'll have to we mentioned a Facebook Live. We'll have to set up a Facebook Live where maybe we can show some different scenarios and stuff like that. How about that?
That'd be great. I just did one with a client friend, and she was asking me all kinds of questions and why does this work? Why doesn't it work? And it was a lot of fun. So yeah,
I would love that. That would be a ton of fun. We'll get that scheduled.
Okay.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. This has been such a fascinating conversation. We'll have to do a part 2.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Thank you. And for any of you who are listening today, we'll be sure to post ways to get a hold of Danielle on our Facebook page as well as on our website at Real Estate Real World. So come on over there to realestaterealworld.com and check us out. Okay. Be sure to go and give us some reviews. Those help us get our show up in the rankings, and we love to hear your comments and feedback. So be sure to post your comments on our page. Thanks again for joining us today, Danielle.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And make it a colorful day.
That's right.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in real estate and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes. And while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others find our podcast. For show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email. Thanks again for listening. And go out there. Be a part of the elite masterclass in raising the bar on the real estate industry.